Hey friends, happy Thursday, yay. All right, we're here to talk about Eat the Snack, Be the Snack. It's a 21-day challenge I have coming up. I still haven't picked the date. I'm pretty sure it's going to be sometime after fall equinox, so we're looking at probably the last week of September when we'll be beginning. Yeah, it's going to be happening. I'm going to be setting up a Google form as well where you can go and fill out, because I just want some information. So if you're interested in joining, I just want some information around, like what are some of the habits that you're ready to let go of? What are some of the habits that you want to bring in? What are some of the things that are stopping you from those habits? Because here's the thing, like oftentimes we set these big goals and we know that we've got to do certain things in order to get there, right? Like, yes, we can do manifestation, but manifestation does still require some action, right? And it's whether or not we're doing, I don't want to say like the correct actions, but it's like whether or not we're doing the things that are going to align us with that, right? Because we want to become the frequency and the energy of the things that we desire. So I'm going to share a little bit of a story of like me, what I do, and what got me to this place and why I have created this 21-day challenge. So if you've never come on a live before, watched a video, or seen much of anything that I do, hi, my name is Anna. I'm a spiritual entrepreneur. I have various modalities under my belts. Probably the one that I'm most known for would have to be Reiki and numerology. Those are the things that I put a lot of focus into. And, my Reiki practice has personally evolved over the years. I've been practicing Reiki for, oh goodness, I think 8 years now, roughly around there. I got my master in 2022. So I've also been teaching Reiki for about 3 years now. And I'm working on an entire new curriculum to teach Reiki in a different way, because there's just been so much that has come into my own awareness around the energy work that I do. So people who have had Reiki sessions with me, they know that it's not a typical Reiki session. My sessions are very much more energy work. I usually can get into the chakra and find memories from past lives of things that are following you, things that have been with you for numerous lifetimes. And this is the lifetime in which you've come to clear out a lot of those karmas, a lot of those debts, those wounds, all of the things. And that's probably one of the biggest things that happens inside of one of my Reiki sessions, is we clear out a lot of that past life trauma, so that you can start to dissolve away some of those irrational fears that you have in this lifetime that you don't understand why you have them. 9 chances out of 10, it comes either from something in a past life, or it comes from, I just had the word, repressed memories, right? Because sometimes our bodies just don't allow us to remember all of the things all the time, especially if it's there to protect us, right? So that's just to give you a little bit about me and what I do. I also use numerology a lot to help me navigate the energies that are happening in and around us as well. So to give you an idea of what that is, like this week we're in 11-2 week, and I come on here every Monday. Typically I come live, sometimes it's a post, but I come on every Monday and I talk about the energy for the week. So this week we're in 11-2. This is highly inspirational and illuminating. There's a lot of things that are coming to the light, especially with us being in a collective 9 year. This is about us like letting go and releasing and dissolving a lot of those things, so that when we move into 2026, which is a collective 1 year, we are starting our book fresh and new. Like, I know a lot of people, when a new year begins, they're like, oh, new chapter, new me, that's great. But we're coming at the end of a numerology cycle. A numerology cycle is 9 years. And we're coming up to the end. Like, this is like the final push. This is the final countdown, if you will. We only have a few more months left, and it's like this big release and purge that's coming through, that ideas are coming in now. It's like, oh, I'm probably operating in this way because XYZ happened, and I can see where I'm still being triggered by that, right? And talking about that is also allowing you to heal your nervous system. Okay. So this is basically the whole basis of where I'm at and why I'm doing this 21-day challenge. So at the beginning of 2025, I made a couple of declarations. One of them was finding my voice, and the other one was to make my life delicious. And I need to make a side note because, like, as I'm looking at myself, I see that my lip is really weird. I had a small dental procedure done earlier today, and I'm still a little bit numb. So if my mouth looks weird, that's why. So yeah, this year was about finding my voice, and it was about making my life delicious. And through making those declarations in the beginning of the year, it really helped me open my eyes to see that I had a lot of stories. I had a lot of programs. I had a lot of things that were in me that were keeping me in this cycle. And one of the cycles is like my body and its weight. I have lost so much weight throughout my life. I have lost, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever number, like I've lost it numerous times, but I've never been able to keep it off. And now I'm only 4 months into this journey, so I'm not saying that I am like healed and cured from all of my things, but what I'm doing differently this time is I am actually making sure that I'm including my nervous system in this work. Because what would happen before when I would lose the weight is that it was a very shame-driven thing that I was doing, okay? My body is really big. Nobody's going to find me attractive or love me because my body is big. I don't know. There's just so many stories that I had created within myself that made me feel like I had to shame myself into my productivity. And this year, I wanted it to be so different because now it wasn't about trying to do something. Now it's about deciding to do something. So the 21-day challenge, Eat the Snack, Be the Snack, is about creating those healthy habits, but creating it in a way that becomes sustainable for you so that you don't keep falling off the wagon, right? Because how often does it happen? I know that for me personally, whenever really big emotional things happen, I am very likely to go to emotional eating. I want to eat all of my feelings because that soothes me more than dealing with it, right? That was my story. That was my program. And that was my belief, is that when things get hard, just eat the food because you will feel better. It's that small little like dopamine hit when you're eating something that you really enjoy, right? The really quote unquote bad things that you enjoy. Right? Like I used to love to go to Wendy's and order like 3 or 4 junior bacon cheeseburgers and scarf those down. Or I go to McDonald's and have breakfast, and I love having their sausage and egg McMuffin with 2 hash browns and 2 burritos and apple juice. And that would be like one meal for me, right? And I would always like attribute that to be like, that's fine. It's just the way that I am. It's okay. I can love and accept myself exactly as I am. But the truth is that I was actually punishing myself. I was punishing myself so deeply because these things became part of my identity, that overeating and being a fat girl, and I'm not saying that in a way to shame anybody or to say anything around bodies. This was just my personal perspective of myself, and this was the conversation that was going on inside of my own mind was, it's okay. This is my identity. I'm a fat girl. I like to eat food, and I'm not going to stop doing that for nobody. But really all I was doing was poisoning myself. And if I really look back on it, I was so unhappy in so many areas of my life because I just felt so restricted. I couldn't go to the amusement park with my husband and my son because I didn't fit on anything, and I couldn't walk. Like, if I'm honest, I let my body get to a point where I could not walk. It was painful to walk. And that became a really big issue for me because now I was holding myself hostage in my home because I couldn't go places. I couldn't do things because I was embarrassed and I was shameful of the ways that I felt, I looked, and even the way that I operated out in public. Like, I wouldn't be able to go for long walks. I wouldn't be able to do anything too strenuous. And it held me back from experiencing so much in my life. And I was like, okay, you know what? It is now time to make the choice. I'm no longer trying, I am deciding. And this is when everything started to shift for me. And the first decision that I made was I hired a coach. I think it was near the end of February 2025, I hired a coach because I was like, I need help. I don't know how to move through this. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like, I have a house, I have a roof over my head, I have all of these amazing things, but still there's something in me that is just so unhappy and I don't understand it and I want to know more. The coach I hired was actually a business coach because I wanted my business to start doing better. And as we started doing the work, we recognized, and she helped me highlight and spotlight so many things as to why I feel like I can't move forward. I was stuck in a functional freeze in my nervous system where I began feeling so much that it became overwhelming and my nervous system shut down. And it was like, no, bitch, we're not feeling nothing no more. And, you know, I could try to go back and trace to like where it started, where it began, but I didn't feel like I needed to dig into all of that, right? Because like sometimes the healing journey, we get caught up in having to dig into all of the stuff. And, you know, there are certain things that we absolutely do need to, but like we don't always have to like dig up every little piece of the past. Like we don't have to do that. And she spotlighted it for me right away. She's like, yeah, you're in functional freeze in your nervous system. Congratulations. You're welcome. And I was like, oh shit. And as I started looking more into it, I was like, okay, I can understand this more. I can understand this better. I can see how this happened. And I know that a lot of it, for the majority, came after my dad died near the end of 2021, because that was such a devastating loss for me. And I didn't know how to grieve. It was my first time ever experiencing death on that level. Like, I've lost grandparents, I've lost aunts and uncles, I've lost cousins, I've lost, you know, pets, you know, things of that nature. But like, my dad was my person. I was a daddy's girl through and through. And I'm exactly like him. I look a lot like him. Our personalities were very the same. We were essentially two peas in a pod. He was like, I don't know how to describe it other than like he was just my person. And, you know, I did my best to go through the motions and to do the things that I needed to do. But it was too hard. It was too much feeling. And, you know, in 2021, from March until September, I did this already. I lost 50 pounds in those months. So March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So it was 6 months. I lost the 50 pounds. Okay. I did it already. But the thing was, as soon as that happened and my dad started getting really, really sick and then shortly thereafter passing away, I didn't know how to deal with those big feelings. Like, I really didn't know how to deal with those big feelings. So I ate them. I pretended everything was fine. I went about my business. I did take some time off of my business. If you've been here for a while, then you know I disappeared for the majority of 2022. I did have some clients that I was working with directly that were with me before that happened. And, you know, I just tried to push through. I went and got my Reiki master. I did another course and things to learn about stuff in business, to learn how to market myself more, and like kept myself busy, kept myself distracted, and kept gaslighting myself to say, this is fine, this is normal, we can eat our feelings, we can shut down everything else, and we can just hyper focus on this one area because that's going to make me happy. And guess what? I put all that weight on plus more. So this time when I made the decision, because again, it wasn't about trying, it was about making a decision. It was about deciding that my life was going to be delicious and that I was finding my voice this year, that I wanted to be healthier, that I wanted to live longer, that I wanted to fit on the rides in the amusement park, that I wanted to have better sex, that I wanted to feel attractive in my own body so that my confidence could exude, because that's the thing. I didn't feel confident in my body. I didn't feel confident within myself. I didn't feel any of those things. And I really needed to overcome that because I knew that if I wanted this to be sustainable, healthy lifestyle changes, that this needed to go deeper than the shame spiral that I tried to shame myself into losing the weight, shame myself into eating better, shame myself into counting every freaking calorie that went into my mouth. And I could not make shame the inspiration or the motivation, because eventually you just beat yourself up to a bloody pulp and you can't move forward. You can't, because here's the thing, like, motivation is going to stop. Motivation will stop. Motivation will ebb and flow just like anything else. So you can't strictly rely on the motivation. Okay, this is why it's so important to understand the decisions that you're making behind the choices, right? And this is what Eat the Snack, Be the Snack is really going to be about. It's about making choices that are good for you, that you know that you need. But above all else, what we're going to do inside of this 21-day challenge is within the first couple of days, we're going to do an energy session. Okay, I'm going to set up that Google form so that you guys can fill out all the information so I know what your goals are, so that I can really help you overcome whatever it is that you feel is stopping you. We're going to do energy sessions so that I can help remove some blocks, clear out some energy, because chances are there's things that you're carrying with you from your childhood that has made you believe this, right? Like, my mother's an emotional eater. I was never taught portion control. I was never taught balanced meals. I was never taught how to manage my stress. I wasn't taught any of those things. The only thing that I was shown was eating, right? So there needed to come a place where I needed to decide, like, okay, I'm not operating from this shameful place any longer. And even when things do get difficult, I am choosing to not fall into the emotional eating. And how I know that this is working and how it's worked differently this time is because I had a massive life-altering thing happen in June. I'm not going to get into the specifics because it's very personal and there are other people involved, and I don't want to say anything that could potentially harm or hurt them. But a very big personal thing happened that threw me into a tailspin for a minimum of a week. It may have even been longer, but it was a thing that turned my life literally upside down. And I didn't know how to navigate it. And it wasn't that I was trying to figure out how to navigate it. The only thing that I was focusing on is like, okay, here is the test. I am being tested in this moment to see, can I reach to these new tools that I have created for myself so that I can overcome this thing without reaching to food. Now, does that mean that it was perfect? No. There was definitely one of those days inside of those 7 days where I was like, fuck this. I'm going to get the biggest fucking sundae I can get at Costco. Anybody knows Costco Sundays? Oh my God. I'm going to get one of those. I'm going to get one of those fucking cookies. I'm going to get a poutine and I'm going to eat it all. Okay. I'm going to eat every bit of it. And I did. Okay. Because I made that choice. But afterwards, I noticed how my body felt, right? Because at this point, I'd been eating very healthily for about 6 weeks. I just started working out. There was all these things that I've been starting to change and do differently. And then I made that decision one day and I just noticed how I felt and what my body was saying. Because I understood why I was operating in the way that I was. And then I was able to get right back on that train the very next day while still dealing with the emotions and while reminding myself that it doesn't feel good to poison myself in that way by overeating, by putting things in my body that's not really fueling it or nourishing it. And that test became so clear to me that I can do this because I am now making it a choice that's coming from a place of love. And that's where the difference is. When we're making choices based in shame, then essentially it's a choice that's based in fear. So we're going to do some energy work so that we can start removing some of these things, because I just allowed myself to be very intuitively led and to let the ego mind kind of be quiet. Like, thank you for all the things and all the thoughts and all the ways that you want to try to protect me, but we're not doing this any longer. We don't subscribe to this any longer. We're looking to do things differently, and we're looking to do things better. So yeah, that's part of what will happen in the energy work. So we're going to start clearing out some of those things that are not allowing you to, not that they're not allowing you, but they're blocking you, right? Like, because you start out with the best of intentions. You have all these goals. You've probably even written out all of the recipes. You've probably written out now like a whole schedule and a routine that you have to follow. Because trust me, I did it too in the beginning. I can show you in one of my notebooks. I literally have hour by hour schedule of what I am doing, how I am taking care of myself, writing down my meals so that I know what all of the calories are, so that I know what the protein is, what the carbs are, what the fat is, all of it, like, y'all, all of the things. I'm a type A personality. I like to be very organized. I like things to be written down where I can see it. Very particular in certain ways. But I was like, this is not sustainable because this still feels like it's coming from a place of shame, right? Still coming from a place of fear where I'm not trusting myself enough to be like, waking up in the morning, doing my spiritual hygiene, which is something else we're going to talk about inside of the 21-day challenge, because your spiritual hygiene is going to be very important through this. Do my spiritual hygiene, and then just allow my body to decide what it needs. So through this practice, there have been days where I literally did not feel like working out, and I didn't, and it was very uncomfortable, like very uncomfortable, so uncomfortable, because I felt like I was letting myself down. And then I needed to like dig into that a little bit. It's like, what is this that's making me feel like I'm letting myself down? Why do I feel this way? And, you know, uncovering some of those things. Now, I know I said we don't always have to dig into all of the things, but sometimes we do. There are going to be certain things where it's like we need to uncover what the root of this is, so that we can get clear on how to remove this root. So yeah, we're going to be doing the energy work. We're going to be talking about spiritual hygiene. I'll be giving you a lot of tools that are going to help you set your days up for success. But not only that, but through the spiritual hygiene practice, you're also going to become more in tune with your body, plus the energy work that we'll be doing too. But you're going to be more in tune with your body so that you can trust what is being said to you through your higher self, because she's never going to lead you astray. And it's time that we just start trusting her. And I know sometimes that's hard, especially if you're a type A personality like me. Like, you like to be super organized. You like to have things planned and scheduled. You may even experience some anxiety when like things get thrown off schedule, might throw you into a little bit of panic. Trust me, I get it. I understand that. But we're going to learn how to move past those things and start to really listen to what's going on within. So now I know I'm talking a lot about like weight loss and nutrition specifically, but this can fit into any category of your life where you want to start making some better choices and you want to start creating more healthy habits, right? This could be environment too. This is now the next piece that I'm working on now that I feel like I've got my physical body and things really taken care of in this moment. So my next piece is working on my environment, because, you know, through my depression and through my functional freeze, it was too hard to keep my house tidy. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was able to get the basics done so that my house wasn't a pigsty and infested with bugs. I was able to do that much, but really nothing else. Like, I had dust all over my house. I had floors that needed to be swept and mopped, you know, dishes piling in the sink. And that doesn't mean that we have to do all of these things perfectly every single day. But if we want to start creating more healthy habits, we have to understand what it is that's stopping us from being consistent in that. And, you know, this can fall in any category, whether it's going to be your environment, your personal health, your spirituality, your relationships. Like, there's so many areas in which these things can fall. And like relationships is another area that I've worked at. We're going to talk about the Wheel of Life inside of the 21-day challenge as well. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not, but we're going to go like deep into the circle or the Wheel of Life so that we can really understand and gauge where we're at in every area, so that if you're coming into it and you're like, well, I'm not really sure what I want to change or make different, then we're going to take a little bit of an analysis moment and we're going to see where we're at in all of these areas, and then we can start making choices in that way. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're inside of the 21-day challenge. We're also going to have some daily posts and prompts that are going to help you navigate and move through. We are going to be doing journaling. We are going to be doing things of that nature, because these are all of the things that have helped me personally over the last 4 months. And like I said, you can apply this to any area of your life. But if you are somebody who is focusing on, better health, then this is going to be perfect for you, because I'm also going to be sharing some recipes that are absolutely delicious and that will help fuel your body. Okay, I'm going to share with you some of my top tips of things that I have done that has helped me lose 50 pounds in 4 months. And some of these are going to be spiritual practices. Some of these are going to actually be tangible things that you can do on a daily basis. I'm going to be sharing with you just some of my favorite things in movement. We're even going to have a movement class as well. So inside of the 21-day challenge, we're going to explore what moving our body looks like for each and every one of us. And this is also going to help us be really in tune with our higher self, so that we can listen to her more, so that we can understand what she's saying to us, so that like radio frequency, right? Think about a radio when you're trying to tune in to listen to something. If that frequency is off even by like a point, it can be very difficult to understand what's being heard. So through these practices that we're going to be doing, it's going to help you fine tune that radio so that you get exactly where you need to be, so that you can hear what that higher self is saying, so you can understand what she is saying, and so that you can intuitively guide yourself through what you need most. So if one of the days there's a journal prompt that comes up and you're like, I don't resonate with this journal prompt, that's amazing. Listen to yourself. If that's not the journal prompt for you, that's okay. So yeah, we're going to be doing energy work. I'm going to be sharing tools, tips, and tricks. Some of them, again, are going to be like energy work type tools, emotional healing type tools, and then things to help you with physical health tools. We're going to be doing some nervous system resetting as well, because a lot of times the things that make us fall off the wagon is because we no longer feel safe for some reason. Like, it no longer feels safe for us to continue down this path and to stop being consistent in the things that we're working on. So we're going to move through some of these things, and we're just going to have a lot of fun. Okay, so that's really the basis. I know I'm talking a lot about some things that are quote unquote around work. Okay, but at the end of the day, really what we're doing is we're going to be having a lot of fun in our exploration of what our higher self wants, what our higher self needs, so that we can find our own voices, and so that we can live that delicious life. Eat the snack, be the snack, be fucking delicious, no matter what it is that you're working on. So those are some highlights of what you can expect inside of the 21-day challenge. Eat the snack, be the snack. And then let's get into a little bit more of like the, what I want to say, I guess more of the administrative side of things. So like I said, I'm going to be putting together a Google form that's going to have some questions. Now, only fill out this form if you are interested in coming into the space, because if you fill it out and then you don't register, then you're telling me a lot of stuff that I am not going to be able to help you with, because you're not going to be inside of the challenge, right? So make sure that if you're going to fill out this form, that you're serious about coming in. I want women who are dedicated to making changes that are not just going to, not only going to benefit themselves, but they can see how it's going to have a bigger ripple effect. And that's something that I'm going to talk about inside of the 21-day challenge as well, is the ripple effect of the decisions that I have made this year and how much it has changed my entire life. Okay, so that form is going to be there. That's mostly to help me understand where you want to put some focus, where you would like to start making some changes, like what are some of the habits that you have that you want to change. What would you like to change those habits into? If there's something that you want to like replace that habit with already, if you already have something in your mind, and just some questions that's going to ask, like, what do you think has stopped you so far? Like, how many times have you tried to make this change and it didn't work? just so that I can get a really good understanding of how I can best serve and support you through that. Now, there is going to be a fee for it as well. It is going to be $33 for the 21 days, okay? So that's a very low amount, and you get to hang out with me multiple times throughout the 21 days, and I'm going to be providing you with so much value that, trust me, you're going to feel like you should have paid thousands of dollars. It's going to be that good, okay? So yeah, it's going to be $33 for the 21 days, and then there's going to be some special offers at the end of it. I'm not going to talk about that now, but there are going to be some special offers after that if you want to continue working together and doing some things together, because you just notice that it helps you grow and expand, right? Like, I hired a coach at the beginning of the year, and we've been working together ever since, because I've been wanting to continue to grow and expand, and I just need that support, and that's okay. We're allowed to have that. There will be some rules that will be posted. It's going to be hosted inside of a private Facebook group. So it's not going to be inside of Divine Purpose Posse. It's not going to be anywhere else where it's going to be public for other people to see. Only the women inside of the container will have access to anything that is going on in that for those 21 days. Because I am creating a very sacred space for us to come together, to be vulnerable, to share how it has been maybe challenging to change these habits, you know? I can tell you one of the challenging habits that I'm having right now leaving is smoking. You guys have seen me post things where I'm like, I'm quitting, and I still haven't fully quit, and it's probably been like a month. But like, I'm working through the emotional things that are tied to it, right? And these are the things that we're going to be focusing on inside of the 21 days, are like, what are those emotional ties? How can we clear some of those things out? And this is where like the energy work and some of the other tools that I'm going to give you is going to help. So yeah, it's going to be hosted on a private Facebook group. I can't tell you exactly how many meetings we're going to have because I don't have everything planned out. Type A personality over here is letting go completely of a schedule. I'm going to have a rough outline, a rough idea of what we're doing, but a lot of things are going to be intuitively led, especially once I read all of your guys' Google Forms and what it is that you guys are working through. But I do know that there's going to be a minimum of 2 energy sessions. There's going to be a somatic movement session. There will be probably some live videos around tools. And let's just be real, because like, I love oracle cards. We're probably going to have like some card pulls in there too. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's really just about having fun and learning how to let joy, creativity, and fun fuel your intuition. Okay, because here's the thing that I've learned so much over these last few months is when you are in that creative, joyful energy, you are attuned to the frequency of your guides and your higher self, and it makes it so much easier. So we're going to have some fun with coloring, maybe even painting. There's some other things that we're going to do inside of there to allow us to creatively express. Okay. And I'll make sure to give you guys a heads up of any materials or things that you're going to need to bring to the class. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be overwhelming. Don't let it get overwhelming for you. Okay. Especially if you're a type A personality like me, don't let it get overwhelming. You do not need to go to the store and buy all of the paints and a bunch of canvases. Like, don't do that. We can work with what we've got. Okay. So yeah, those are the things that you can expect inside of the 21-day challenge. Eat the snack, be the snack. And again, yes, there is going to be a little bit of a focus on health and nutrition, but everything that I'll be teaching you can be applied to any area of your life. Okay. Robin says that she's in. She says, that's me. Yes, I know, girl, because I always attract clients who are very similar to me. And I'm the type of person, like, when I go in, I go all the fucking way in. Like, I'm going to get all the things that I need. I'm going to, like, all the things, like, literally all of the things. Like, when I started this whole journey with Reiki and just all the things, like, literally bought all the crystals, literally bought all the oracle decks, literally bought, like, all of the things, like, literally all of the things. So I get it. I understand, because that's what type A personalities do. Like, when they make a decision to go in on something, they go all the fucking way in. Like, I see you, I feel you, I know, because I'm her too. But it's also learning how to like let that go. That's the beautiful practice of surrender that makes me want to vomit every time I say the word surrender. I don't know about anybody else, but surrender's like, don't love it because of my personality type. But there is so much magic actually inside of the surrender, which I hate even saying because I know that if you're like me, you're like, ugh, gross. However, I can't deny how much my life has changed since like getting into the surrender. So I'm just saying. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, so now that you guys know a little bit about Eat the Snack, Be the Snack, just leave it in the comments if you are in. And I am going to be working on that Google form probably tomorrow. I'm hoping to have it done in the morning and then have it out ready for distribution in the afternoon. So if you are seeing this anytime before September 19th, let's say 5 p.m. Eastern, then you say me, I'm in, or whatever, then I will send you the link as soon as I have it. If you're watching it after the fact, then obviously the link will be ready for you, so I can just go ahead and shoot it to you. You can choose to leave a comment, or you can reach out to me privately as well if you're more comfortable with that. And then, yeah, like I said, at the end of the 21 days, there's going to be some really incredible offers if you want to work with me more directly one-on-one, or if you want to come into different group settings that I host and have different things that are going on. Because I promise you, these 21 days are going to change your life in some way or another. Especially if you make the decision, make the choice to make it a priority over those 21 days and see how much shifts and changes for you. Okay? All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much, and I can't wait to do this 21-day challenge. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal, incredible for all of the women who show up. And there's going to be some very valuable things that are going to be in there. And like I said, above all else, we're going to have such a fucking amazing, fun time, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. So have an incredible day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And like I said, if you are in, let me know. I will send you the link as soon as it's ready for the Google Doc. And once that is all set up, then your registration link and everything will be there for you so that you'll be able to take care of all of the things. You'll get signed up. And then once the group is ready to be opened, I will get you inside of there and we will do some pre-work. And then, so like, you're going to be getting a little more than 21 days. I'm just saying, there will be a little bit of pre-work, but we're not going to get into all of those details. You'll see everything as everything begins to unfold, because again, I am modeling the way that I'm going to teach things to you, and that's to surrender and let the intuition flow as to what we need and how we're going to move forward, right? All right, friends, I will see you again very soon. I'll be talking about this lots, so there's going to be lots of opportunities. It's going to be a minimum of of 1 week before this is launched, so there's time. Like I said, I still haven't fully decided on a date yet, just because things have been a little bit hectic in my life since September started, you know, getting into the new routine, school and all the stuff, but all those things will be made very clear very soon. All right, bye for now, friends.